the 2022 World Series on Fox, presented by Capital One. The Phillies pounded the baseball into submission last night. Aaron Nola will try to master it here in Game 4. Really good first 2 games of the postseason. Not good his last 2.
No, he needs to establish that fastball on both sides of the plate. He's really good with the fastball to arm side, which is in to a right-hander, away, and you see the numbers on his last 2. And look, last night we saw a classic case of pitcher not establishing anything, and the offensive Philly took it away. You have to establish and make the opponents fear something. Nola, strike, thrower, fastball command.
Off we go in Game 4 with a fastball that's cut out and missed by Altuve. 5 runs over 4 1/3 in Game 1 allowed by Aaron Nola. That was after he gave up 6 runs in the second game of the National League Championship Series. First 2 games of the postseason, no earned runs for the longest tenured Philly, who's home with an 0-1. Ball 1 on Altuve.
In between starts, he has the chance to make the mechanical changes. You look at film, you look at your last game. His fastball was not the fastball we've seen really pretty much all year. He looks like he's got electric fastball right now. Can he command it and keep that offense at bay for the Astros?
Here's 1-1. A cutter off the end of the bat. It's hit foul, and it's 1-2. Fastball command, normally what defines Aaron Nola. It's what set him apart his entire baseball life, but it's what's deserted him the last 2. 187 average against his fastballs during the regular season. 536 the last 2 games. His 1-2 to Jose Altuve is fouled back.
What his weapons are is he got great movement on his 2-seam fastball, and the arm side is inside part of the plate to a right-hander, just to give you the terminology. Arm side fastball, glove side fastball. What the arm side fastball does for him, you see the breakdown right there. It allows that changeup to become a bigger weapon as the game plays on, because that changeup is going to be on that side of the plate.
Jose Altuve leading off against Nola. Grounded 1 foul. He's rare in that he can go to both sides of the plate. I mean, you're a Hall of Fame pitcher, and you were mostly away.
I was one side of the plate, tried to own it and stay there because of the pitch selections that I had to pick from. He has different lanes that he can get to, and because he can expand the zone against a very good team that doesn't swing and miss and strike out a lot, well, that'll be tougher if he's pitching on both sides of the plate.
Another 1-2. Off the end of the bat, center field. Marsh and Castellanos. Brandon Marsh runs under it for out number 1. Altuve is retired. Rest of the Astros lineup looks like this, with Pena and Alvarez coming up next. And then it's Bregman, Tucker, and Gurriel through the heart of the lineup. Kyle Tucker, of course, 2 home runs against Aaron Nola in Game 1 of the World Series. Christian Vasquez, just his second start of this postseason, with Aledmus Diaz in left field trying to get things rolling. And Chas McCormick in center hitting 9th. 1 away in this first inning, and here's the rookie Jeremy Pena.
Another aggressive style hitter. Breaking balls should be the theme out of Nola once he gets any strike on Pena.
Pena's got a hit in all 3 games in this World Series. Takes a strike on a fastball.
It's tough when you have a very stingy team like Houston against a strike-throwing machine of Nola. What do? You pick one out on the side of the plate. You can't miss it if you get it.
There's that breaking ball.
Yeah, and it just has such great tilt to it. And right now he's connected, obviously only 2 hitters, but connected with his mechanics. And you could tell the command he's got so far.
Oh, 2 pitch. 2 gone in the first.
Well, this is what the Phillies have done. They get off to a fast start at home. Their crowd never sits down. And they've eliminated the big inning for the most part, with the exception of San Diego in that 1 inning. But They're establishing their will right now. Something has to happen to change that, and offensively it starts with this guy tonight. I'm looking for, if Alvarez is to get out of his funk, he's got to get a pitch away and pepper the left side of the field. He's looking to pull, and he's great inner half. He just hasn't been right now. If he gets a fastball mistake away and he's on time, he can hit it the other way for a homer.
306 hitter during the regular season is 4 for his last 32. He got a pitch away and it missed. 1 ball, no strikes. The postseason started dramatically, started emphatically for him with a walk-off home run in the game against Seattle to open the division series. Go-ahead home run the next day, but that 4 for 32 since. On a 1-0 from Aaron Nola. Yordan Alvarez takes a swing.
He'll give him that pitch. That backdoor curveball's a weapon. But what at some point Nola's going to bust him in to get him off the pitch away. When you watch film and you've watched pitchers, when do you adjust when you've had success? I say you don't until the hitter makes you change.
Let's see, back-to-back pitches away, staying out there. Oh, ooh, baby.
And that just tells me he's not on time, because a fastball, when he's on time and he's going to hit the fastball out over the plate, you pepper it, and he's fouling it off. So now with that pitch right there, if he wanted to, if Nola wanted to go back inside and tie him up, he could do that because he's late on the fastball.
1-2.
I'd say that's pretty good, dealing with your home mound that you love pitching on.
Whew. Talk about these guys loving to hit here. They've pitched well too. They're outscoring opponents 42-15 in South Philly this postseason. The 2-2 from Aaron Nola is golfed down the line, foul.
See, the only reason, again, I didn't like that pitch after the ball was fouled away, that sped up his bat. So you bring in the hanging breaking ball that he can lose to right field if you don't make the quality pitch. I would think that a heater here after a couple breaking balls and see what he can do with it.
Another 2-2. It is a fastball. It's slashed into left center field, and Yordan Alvarez has a base hit. 2-out single for Alvarez. Did go with a fastball. Alvarez went the other way with it.
That's a good sign if you're Houston and Alvarez, because he stayed on this pitch a lot better. If you try to pull this pitch, it might not be the same result. And even though he didn't scorch it, you see how the timing of the bat, that you never know what's going to get a hitter going. He has been in a funk. He gets the fastball, and he gets a base hit with 2 outs.
His Astros shut out for the first time this postseason last night. Top 5 in the order went 1 for 18 combined. Even Alex Bregman, who's been their best hitter this postseason, was hitless. He takes outside, ball 1.
Only one time yesterday, if my memory is correct, that the Astros got the leadoff hitter on. Everything else happened with 2 outs. And again, with 2 outs, it's a less of a rally. Even though in the postseason everything's a rally, you want the 2-out runner on instead of get on early and create traffic and create a buzz and put pressure on the other team.
On this 1-0 pitch, Bregman watches a fastball, tail back in there for a strike, and it's 1-1. That's what Aaron Nola's been doing since he started pitching when he was 10 years old in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Didn't throw harder than the other kids necessarily, but he could put it wherever he wanted to from the first time he stepped on a mound. That's what set him apart over his 8 years in the majors. The All-Star ready for this 1-1. On the knuckles, strike 2.
That's a great pitch to a guy who loves the ball inside. How do you beat a guy who loves the ball inside? You get it way in, and you make him conscious of that to open up the outside part of the plate. Bregman's strikeouts, a third of them are called looking away because he's so disciplined. He takes the plate and splits it in thirds and says, the inner third's mine, the outer third I'll try to battle you.
Nola trying to own both those sides of the plate. Home of the 1-2. Back outside, fouled off again.
Perfect pitch, and that's a great sequence. And that's what I'm talking about. When pitchers can impose stress and put the hitters on the fence, they're gonna make the statement of the game. If the hitter flips the script, and the pitcher gets defensive like we saw yesterday or last night, then the offense is going to dictate the game.
Bregman, who's got 6 home runs in the World Series in his career, 15 in the postseason. On a 1-2 from Nola. Pokes one gently, right side. Gene Segura gets there and whips a fastball to first to finish the first. That matched a World Series record with 5 home runs in last night's game. Schwarber, Hoskins, Realmuto, Harper, Castellanos, and Bohm. Stott, Segura, Marsh round things out. And on the mound for the Astros in this one, the 25-year-old from the Dominican Republic, Christian Javier, who has gone from low-level prospect to a reliever in the majors to, John, one of the hottest pitchers in baseball and the Game 4 starter for the Astros.
Well, the Astros need him bad, and they need him to be aggressive, and here's the usage he's going to have. But he's not a strike thrower, much like we talked about Nola. Doesn't throw first pitch strikes, barely over 50%. But that's okay if he throws his four-seamer aggressively and attacks the Phillies. You cannot get defensive against a hot team. You can't pitch around them. You have to go right at them. And I think he's the guy that can expose them a little bit. Yes, the stats say they're a great fastball hitting team at the top of the strike zone. But when he's on, he's a better pitcher at the top of the strike zone.
Kyle Schwarber had one of the 5 home runs last night. His 4th in his last 10 games. Javier rocks and throws and misses inside. 1 ball, no strikes. So throws his fastball more than anybody. Threw it more than ever against the Yankees in Game 3 of the championship series. And gave up just 1 hit over 5 1/3 scoreless innings. Using his fastball 70% of the time in that game. And he doesn't throw it that hard. It's 93, 94, but that high spin fastball. That low arm angle looks like it's coming uphill. It's like a rise ball that even when he wasn't throwing hard at all, when it was mid-80s, high 80s in the minors, nobody could hit it. 3 straight fastballs, and it's 1-2.
Well, he does a great job with the leverage of his arms. And what I mean by that is you'll see the spread of his glove hand is going to get way out. Okay, and his arm, he reaches back and he almost throws uphill with that fastball is what you're talking about, kind of the invisible that nobody sees in the zone. We've seen a lot of crazy stats and a lot of things that you scratch your head as we see another look at his delivery in the zone. Okay, pitches in the zone, and there's that look that the hitter's going to see. 190 they're hitting. That's pitches in the square box where all the hitters like those pitches.
The league average on pitches in the zone is 280, and it's 190 against Christian Javier, which is best in baseball. Delivers another 1-2, and Schwarber shoots a high drive the other way that backs up Diaz shy of the track for the first out of the bottom of the first inning. From 1 home run hitter last night to another in Rhys Hoskins. More the same for him. He saved his best for these home games. 6 games in South Philly in this postseason, 5 home runs and 11 knocked in.
Well, he's got a sweet swing down in the zone. He's hit a couple sliders down for homers, and he's hit a couple pitches right in that area. And he also likes the ball inner half, but the ball up will give him a little bit of trouble on the fastball. Not to mention he'll swing off the plate on the breaking balls.
Javier's got one of those too. Got a slider the league's hitting 103 against. And that's what he goes to. Hoskins watches it miss. Straight up. Backing out of play. The Phillies 2 wins from the World Series and 2 games left here where they're 6-0 this postseason, scoring 7 runs per game. They've hit 17 home runs in the 6 games here. Rob Thompson, who took over this team on June 3rd, tries to become the 3rd to take over a team mid-season and lead him to a title. On a 1-1 pitch, Hoskins takes ball 2. You know, it's interesting, John. The 190 average on pitches in the zone for Christian Javier, you'd figure that would empower you to live in there the entire game, but he says that's where he's still having to grow, trusting that he can live in the zone against major league hitters.
Yeah, definitely putting him on the defensive if he gets ahead of him.
Down the line and foul ground, Gurriel, he just runs out of room.
Man, I'm a little interested in that. He drifted a lot on that ball to Gurriel. No, there's a screen over there, but I think he thought he had that more in hand than he gave it credit for. He just kind of drifted and
all right, so fresh life for Rhys Hoskins. So you got to look at the numbers for these Phillies in this ballpark. 2-2 from Javier. Very high. Javier to Hoskins with a payoff pitch. Fly ball, shallow center field. Pena calls off Altuve. 2 up and 2 down.
And that's a good start for Javier, effectively attacking the hitters with the fastballs and showing that fastball that we talked about, some guys have late life, some guys have that invisible that's kind of hard to explain. The hitter just doesn't pick it up. A lot of fly balls. He's not going to give up a ton of ground balls.
In fact, gives up more fly balls than anybody in baseball. And the guy he's going to face here, John, and JT Realmuto, one of the best high fastball hitters in the sport.
Yeah, he's also one of the most Iron Man catchers I've ever seen. Caught more innings. Just, I mean, at some point, it's got to have an effect on his offense when you're catching this many games.
Strike one, slider to the outside corner.
But he shuts down the running game. He's handling this pitching staff about as well as you can, and he's come up with some big hits.
Game 1 hero for the Phillies. Tied it with a double, won it with a homer in the 10th. An 0-1 pitch. It's another breaking ball. So a guy who crushes high fastballs sees 2 sliders from Javier. Realmuto, 9 years in the big leagues, getting his first chance in the postseason. He had never been on a winning team until last year when they finished 2 games above 500. Bullseye, 1 and 2. Javier fires the 1-2 and strikes him out, getting a chase with the slider. Off and rolling in Game 4 of the World Series. Kyle Tucker, who homered twice against Aaron Nola. Kyle Tucker heads to the plate to start the second. He had a partying in Houston in Game 1 of the World Series, homering twice against Aaron Nola. And if you're Nola, John, how can you be different against Tucker this time? You can probably start by not putting the ball on a tee.
Yeah, changeup leaked over the plate. Then he tried to surprise him with a fastball in. Look, Tucker is such a good middle of the strike zone down. Above the barrel, above the middle of the zone, you can get to him with a fastball. That changeup would have been an effective pitch had he got it off the plate. It cut, and now you're going to see Nola try to reestablish the outside part of the plate, and at some point he has to push him off the plate if he's concerned that he's owning that inner part of the plate.
Those 2 home runs gave the Astros a 5-0 lead in Game 1, but he kind of becomes the forgotten man, the forgotten hero in that game, with the Phillies, of course, rallying to win it. And since then, he's gone 0 for 8.
And see, he can make that pitch until the hitters tell him he can't make that pitch, because that is pain on the outside corner. Aggressive hitter. That's an out if he puts it in play. Of course, the ball beat him, and he fouled it off.
17 of the first 21 pitches from Aaron Nola have been strikes. Astros staying aggressive. Strike 2. 2 pitches, 2 swings.
When a hitter does something against one of your better pitches, you can't put it in your back pocket. So at some point, he's got to throw him a changeup. That's a weapon for Nola. But what ends up happening sometimes is you see that pitch worse than it really was. It just was a bad pitch. It wasn't a bad pitch selection, just a bad location. Make your pitch and you get your hitter out.
0-2. To right, that's a base hit on a breaking ball, and it gets to the wall. Kyle Tucker does it again against Aaron Nola. A leadoff double in the second.
Now again, that pitch selection is a little bit questionable when you've thrown that fastball away and you've got 2 foul balls and you come back with a backdoor breaking ball. This speeds up that bat and it allows him that flat, long slant swing to get around and get a huge leadoff double for the Astros, who have not created any stress the last 12 or 13 innings, maybe even going farther back than that. But they've got to create stress here at home, where Philly they haven't had much.
I got the details on what you're feeling. 13 straight innings without a run for the Astros. Trying to end that. Gurriel puts the first one in play. Gently to third. Tucker trying to take third. He's there. Gurriel's the first out, but a big 90 feet right there from Kyle Tucker.
See, that's pre-planning in baseball, fast action, right? Baseball is a fast twitch. You got to think on your feet, but you have to think before something happens. What am I going to do if this ball's hit here? And he reads it perfectly. Ground ball to third. Look how far this throw's got to be made. All right, and as soon as he starts throwing it, he takes off, and that throw can't be made back in time for the speed that Tucker has, and an all-important on third, less than 2 outs.
Gurriel puts the first one. Great player this is, Kyle Tucker. He hits, he runs, he's a Gold Glover, and he's 90 feet away in a scoreless second. Infield comes in for the Phillies. Christian Vasquez comes up. Ball. Second start of the postseason for Christian Vasquez, and it is just because he's become the catcher for Christian Javier. There are a lot of Astros fans that would like to see him play more, given the offensive struggles lately. And given the fact that he is a better offensive player than Martin Maldonado.
Yeah, he's a really good low ball, even low ball breaking ball hitter. So, and you think you're making a good pitch, he'll get to that pitch.
On a 1-0. Got it. Hit. Astros at the corners with one away.
Now that's actually, I mean, not that you want to hit a guy, but that's actually going to be an interesting scenario with double play in action, and Diaz is up and really hasn't had much going on, so not the end of the world for Aaron Nola to have a double play scenario with a hitter that is struggling.
Well, when you were starting to describe it with Vasquez, he's actually a pretty tough matchup for Nola. So he's now aboard, and Diaz has not been a tough matchup for anybody this October into November.
No, but he's got a chance to get his team on the board, and really all he has to do, if he can think making contact to the right side, which not a lot of players do. That's a harder double play to turn, and you stay on the ball and drive in a run.
Tucker at third, Vasquez at first. Aledmus Diaz fouls it off. And boy, this feels like the Astros gotta have it. Down 2-1 in the series. A chance here early, but they've gotten all their offense in this World Series over the first few innings.
Well, that fastball was a good one, because now he can go to work with curveballs if he wants to. And that curveball brings in a ground ball to the left side. Swing and miss a lot from Diaz.
Just like that.
And now bounce this one. Trust your catcher or get it off the plate. You've got to think strikeout now. And Diaz has got to do whatever he can to adjust his swing and not just go with the same swing with 2 strikes. The Astros have done a good job so far with 2 strikes. They've had a couple hits.
Huge spot early in this game. Nola deals. Nope. Boy, it took every ounce of his being to lay off.
Well, we saw him swing at a 3-0 pitch in a crucial situation, like way off the plate, and he will keep that. There's no reason to not throw the same pitch again off the plate.
Nola looking for a strikeout.
That one caught too much of the plate. The reason JT is so good and the reason you can trust him is you can throw this breaking ball and bounce it. He'll swing at it, but this was too high. And right now, the swing is too big. And when the swing's that big, it invites a lot of swing and miss with 2 strikes. And Nola executes this pitch down and away, and I don't think Diaz can get to it.
So much of the identity for the Astros is putting the ball in play. Can Diaz do so here to get him on the board? On another 1-2. He chases a couple of feet off of the plate. 2 gone.
I mean, this is a no chance right now just because he's so jumpy at the plate. And when you see a hitter jumpy at the plate and you've gotten your fastball by him for a strike, all right, there was the one he could have hit. Then you go to work. Curveball. Curveball. Look how aggressive that take was. This was the one that he could have hit that he left up, and then he threw one way off the plate. He tightened it up, and he got a big strikeout. Wrong place for the Astros at the wrong time. Best place for Nola.
And it's up to the local guy, Chas McCormick, out of nearby Westchester, Pennsylvania. The ballpark he grew up coming to games. First pitch. Right down the middle. Took a breaking ball, 0-1. McCormick quietly at the bottom of this lineup has been one of their best hitters, especially in this World Series. He's got a hit in all 3 games. He's reached in more than half of his trips up there.
Now, the question will be in this at bat, does Nola jam him in late with fastballs? He's looking for a low fastball away to hit and to possibly drive.
Down an 0-1. McCormick takes very high. Kyle Tucker started this inning with a double, took 3rd and a ground out from Gurriel. Vasquez got hit by a pitch. And now Nola trying to slither his way out of this with no damage. His 1-1. Ball spins down and away. Altuve waits on deck.
Obviously, the right side is wide open, and there's a reason it's wide open because the statistics show when McCormick hits the ball on the ground, it's going to be to the shift side, right where they've got him shifted. But if there was ever a time to hit one off the end of the bat, and I guess that's the only thing you get worried about if you jam them inside, that's what could happen.
Two on, 2 out. 2-1. Strike 2.
This one buckled him. This was a front door breaking ball. Wasn't supposed to be there. Late break. Buckled him, and he turned his shoulder and he was done.
Bryce Harper's last swing of the championship series was a pennant-winning home run. His first swing of the World Series in front of his home fans produced an ear-shattering sound from the sellout crowd. The first of 5 home runs in the 7-0 win.
Well, the guy's this hot. You usually don't challenge him as much as the pitchers do, but he's been swinging really a lot on the first pitch.
See here. Oh, how about a first pitch take?
That's a first pitch strike that Vasquez cost his pitcher. That one was not caught properly. And that's a strike that he made appear not a strike.
And all the people that wanted Vasquez to start for his offense are saying, where's Maldonado? That's a strike, 1-1. Now, the place, John, that pitchers have gone against Harper is up with the fastball.
Yeah.
And as we've detailed, that's what Javier does.
He does. He throws it really well up there because he throws uphill a little bit. And, you know, there's a fine line. There's a 4-inch window that you can get the ball up there. Otherwise, you're not getting it back. And that's the spot right there, top of the zone. And of course, Bryce Harper doesn't want that called, because now what that does is it entices Bryce to go even further. He recognizes that's as far as he wants to go, and so he thinks that's a ball. Now Javier can go a little bit higher than that, because I'm sure Bryce would try to protect the strike zone with 2 strikes.
That, by the way, is only the 3rd called strike on Harper all postseason. He's swinging at 90% of the pitches that are in the strike zone. Took that one high and away. Count evens 2-2.
This you got to make, though, over the plate. See that one leaked away? You got to have this one over the plate, belt high, above that. Well, viewers see the line. Pitchers know where it is.
On 2-2, Harper. Oh, baby. Javier's had a couple that he probably feels like should have been strikes.
Yeah, well, that was the corner. And he had it leaking over on that corner. But see where the glove is? See how he missed the location? Vasquez knows he needs to get that ball more over the plate.
His payoff. Harper leads it up in the leadoff walk. First base runner of the game for the Phillies, and you don't have to play in the World Series to win big. Right now is your chance to win $25,000 of Big Papi's money. Playing Fox Bet Super 6. Get the free Super 6 app on your phone now and enter your 6 picks in tonight's World Series contest for a chance to win. So Harper's on, and Castellanos is up.
When you know you've got an aggressive hitter at the plate like Castellanos, you grind to make your best first pitch, because you can get 2 outs for the price of 1. You can get obviously a quick out, but you know he's swinging. So you make a quality pitch and you get action.
That's a quality pitch right there. Huh?
Like, yeah, so the best thing he could do if he were to hit that would be pound it into the ground. So when you follow the reports and the numbers, it's not that hard. But when you try to out-trick things and out-trick players, then you're doing the other player a favor.
Back-to-back sliders to Castellanos. Ahead 0-2. Tighten that one up a little bit. On average, it breaks 15 inches, his slider does. You pair that with a fastball with the kind of movement that it has, and you get a guy in his 3rd season in the majors with a 2.54 ERA and better than ever right now. 1 run allowed in his last 33 innings. Sticks with the breaking stuff. 3 in a row to get Castellanos.
Again, we talk about what is an invisible ball. Well, it's a ball that looks like it's right there and then just kind of disappears. There's the first one, tight and low. The other one stayed up, but they still had the break. See the break away from the barrel of the bat? Castellanos' bat barrel to ball is more down than up and flat, so that pitch is going to do damage against him all night if he throws it.
Should see a bunch more breaking balls to this next guy, right?
Yeah, this is one of their guys in the lineup that can hit a high fastball.
It's Alec Bohm.
It doesn't mean you go away from your fastball. It just means that if you make a mistake up over the plate, that's his bat path. Taller guy, wants the ball up.
4 straight breaking balls from Javier and 4 swings and misses from the Phillies. Bohm had the #1 average in the National League against high fastballs this year. He had 354 against them. At his first postseason home run last night on a fastball. He's got Harper at first with 1 gone. He got a fastball and he fouled it off.
To see Vasquez right there, looked like if that pitch was swung and missed, he was going to back pick Harper. He was going to throw to first base. He loves doing that. This is an aggressive throwing catcher behind the plate. So what basically he was going to do is, as Harper takes his one-way lead and starts going towards second base as the pitch is delivered, if the pitch is missed, the catcher's going to throw right back to the first baseman and try to catch Harper, leaning and anticipating going to second because he thinks the ball's going to be hit.
Bohm in an 0-2 hole. Javier, the toughest two-strike pitcher in baseball this year. It's an interesting matchup with two-strike shot, him against this lineup, because while he's been the best in the game with two strikes, the Phillies in this postseason have hit 8 two-strike home runs.
Yeah, that's pretty surprising against some of the tier pitching you're going to get in the postseason, and give the Phillies credit. They've gotten a lot of two-out hits, two-out RBIs, and two-strike homers.
2 strikes here. Javier home. Ball left it up there. Ball 1. Harper at first with the leadoff walk. First base runner against Javier. Who's 1-2 pitch. Is foul back.
Okay, now that he got him thinking about fastball and trying to get the bat started, now's the time to drop that slider right now if he wants to get that swing and miss.
Only fastballs to left-handed hitters so far, but he's been 50-50 fastball slider to righties. Guessing game for the hitters. It was a slider, but it was ball out of hand.
Yeah, needed to start it just a little higher.
Dusty Baker's club trying to get this series back to Houston. Yet to lose back-to-back games this postseason. Harper runs, boom, swings and misses. Throw, not in time. Stolen base for Bryce Harper. Boom down on strikes, 2 gone.
Good job, John.
Harper got a bunch of timings on his delivery and picked a good pitch here. And not a great throw by Vasquez. Tried to hurry and just ran it up the line, and Altuve tried to get the catch and tag.
First runner in scoring position for the Phillies. They had those 7 runs yesterday without doing this. They had the 7 runs off nothing but home runs. And it's the rookie shortstop Bryson Stott.
So far, Javier throwing a lot of strikes in the first 3 pitches, something he hadn't done statistically.
There's one of them there.
And that's a good sign. He's had some time off. Look, this series has got to be filled for the Astros. Like, hey, when you win every game, you're going to have time off. You're going to have some rust. You're going to have to deal with it. And the time off for this young man's fastball looks pretty electric so far.
So 21 2-out runs for the Phillies in their wins in this postseason. Got in on him. Shallow center field. And an easy play for Pena. Christian Javier with a couple scoreless innings to get this one started. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Capital One. Steal a base, steal a taco is back. The World Baseball Classic is back, an exclusive on Fox. All the action begins March 2023. Taiwan, Japan, Arizona, and Florida. You can visit worldbaseballclassic.com for more information. Second time through for the Astros against Aaron Nola. Pitched around some traffic last inning, getting a couple of Ks to get out of it unscathed. And it's Altuve to lead off. Fly to center his first time. Grounds this one to third. Ball backs up, steadies, throws, and gets him. 1 pitch, 1 out. Well, Nola's continued to attack, and so have the Astros.
Yeah, they've swung at a lot of pitches. 27 to 36 pitches of strikes out of Nola, and the Astros going into that, they had swung at 22, now 23. And that's the one thing about Altuve. He took a pitch outside part of the plate and tried to pull it, and that's usually what happens. So you're doing them. Nola's going to, he's going to have a quick game if that's the narrative.
Aggressive is who they are. And it's okay when that's who you are, but selectively aggressive is what you want.
Yeah, you have a pitcher's going to eat out of your hands if he gets those kind of pitches from ground outs.
Breaker for a strike on Pena. That's how he struck him out his first time up. Pena's got a hit in all 3 games in this World Series. Ball. Takes a change up low. The count evens 1-1.
Coming into this game, I thought 2 runs could be enough to win it. I really did. Both pitchers, I thought that Nola would make the adjustments. Looks like he has. He's taken film and watched what he did. I actually think, I know this sounds crazy, but I think a pitcher has a better chance to adjust when he's done poorly than if a pitcher dominates and the hitters adjust to a dominating performance, you know? And I think you can make those necessary changes, and Nola has done that early on and set the tone, and even getting out of that first and third jam.
Kicks and deals, a 1-2 pitch. Yeah, I mean, a pitcher as good as another. You look at what Javier's done. He's been nails, and we've not had a pitcher's duel yet in this World Series. You kind of see it coming.
Yeah, I think tonight's the night where hitters are going to really have to cash in on what limited opportunities they get. Houston's 0 for 1 so far.
1-2 again. Ball. Good take on a change.
That's the first changeup. Okay, and the changeup is a field pitch, and it's a pitch that you throw right off your fastball normally. And if he gets that going, that's an extra weapon that the Astros have to pay attention to.
He's only given up 1 hit on a changeup all postseason. 2-2. Ball full count through another.
I always say in a lineup in a regular season, there's always 2 to 3 hitters you can go to get your pitch going, meaning that's the hitter you feel safe throwing it to, because if you don't feel like you've got that pitch, you don't break it out against the elite hitters until you've got it going.
From 1-2 to 3-2. Nola comes back home, and Pena strikes out on a breaking ball. Second time he's finished him off on a spinner tonight. 2 up, 2 down in the 3rd inning. Up comes Yordan Alvarez, and for more on the big slugger, down to Ken Rosenthal.
Well, Joe, just before Monday night's game was postponed, Alvarez asked co-hitting coach Alex Cintron to go to the batting cage with him. He wanted to straighten himself out. Cintron advised him to spread out wider at the plate, stay more closed in his stance, stop diving with his upper body. They thought they had the problem licked. Alvarez left the cage saying somebody's in trouble. That's very unusual for him. He's normally quite a modest guy. But it turns out he did not take his adjustments into the game, went 0 for 4. So today they were at it again. An early cage session did not go well. They went back into the cage at 5:45, trying to fix Yordan Alvarez.
And did he perhaps find something with that 2-strike opposite field hit his first time up?
Well, game is a game of failure, but when you get some success, it can unlock that confidence that goes wayward sometimes, because you fail 7 out of 10 times, you're considered great. Ball. Think about that. There's no other sport where that success rate's going to work. So baseball's so mental, and especially when you get to the postseason, everything gets condensed and magnified, and they ask you questions they would never ask you in the regular season. That's why it's difficult to be successful in the postseason.
On a 1-1 pitch, Alvarez shoots one to left center again, slicing towards the gap, but Schwarber's there, and that's the inning. 1-2-3-3rd, first clean inning of the game for Aaron Nola. Third. Hey, predict which players will stack the most total bases each day during the postseason and compete to win $50 grand. All you got to do is enter MLB Base Chase in the MLB Play app or through MLB.com/play. Restrictions apply. See official rules for details. Biggest start of the youngster's career, and he has come right after the Phillies. That is a rare early miss. Ball 1 on Gene Segura. Segura trying to break out of his slump. He's 3 for his last 28. 1 for 11 in the World Series. On a 1-0 from Javier. He takes ball 2. Vasquez out of room.
He's been attacking, and you can see nobody so far has been able to really square up. There's the four-seam fastball at 72%. And if he keeps commanding it in the strike zone, I'll see that percentage stay right there.
Every slider that he's thrown has come to a right-handed hitter. So if you're lefty going up there, you can completely look for a fastball. It's all he's thrown him. One thing to look for him, it's another thing to hit it. 2-2 on Segura. Now, Christian Javier, another one of those guys for the Astros that went a couple years after he was eligible without anybody wanting him. He signed a week before he turned 18. Now, most international prospects sign on their 16th birthday. Big old contract? No. 10 grand to sign to be an Astro. 5 years in the minors. Now in his third year in the big leagues. And his first season, he only got a chance. That was in a short 2020 year. Only got a chance because Justin Verlander went down with what eventually led to the Tommy John surgery. And then last year was mostly out of the bullpen. Started this year in the bullpen. But moved into the rotation and has not looked back. The #1 average against in baseball, and it's half of that in the postseason. Whips another 2-2. Segura flies it to center for Chas McCormick. One away. Up comes the 9-hitter, Brandon Marsh. And the 9-hitter has a sponsored element tonight. Our player resume is sponsored by Indeed. Phillies getting production from all over the lineup. Marsh yesterday had a home run. Youngest Phillies player with a home run in the World Series. 24-year-old who they got from the Angels at the deadline.
He's come up with some big hits. He doesn't have a lot in the postseason, and he went through a stretch where they were really beating him at the top of the zone. A lot of strikeouts. You see the numbers there that don't quite add up based on the stuff that Javier possesses. So early success for Marsh.
Well, there's the first non-fastball that he's thrown a lefty. And the reason you say it doesn't add up is because Marsh has had no chance against high fastballs most of the postseason.
Yeah, the postseason, that top of the belt has been a problem for him, but he's had great action of his bat in the zone when he gets a breaking ball that's flat. The one thing that the Phillies have done a great job, even if they don't have a lot of success in getting hits, the guys at the bottom have been battling. Stott's seen a lot of pitches. Even Marsh at times will. Now 3-0, and that right there is a no-no out of Javier, but that's a part of the DNA of them, right? You got to live with both. When you throw a lot of pitches that don't exactly pound the strike zone, you run into some walks, and in the postseason, those walks can get scary, and obviously they're stressful because it's a rally.
Especially when you got the top of the order looming. 3-0 on the 9-hitter for Javier. Schwarber waits. As Marsh takes ball 4. And now Kyle Schwarber, who's hit 50 home runs this season, 46 in the regular year to lead the National League, 4 in the postseason, in a bunch, John, against high heaters.
Yeah, you know, early on when we were covering him in the postseason, he looked disconnected with his hands. He's got that little wiggle. He's a timing, athletic hitter with obviously a ton of power. Hits with his legs, and when he's in balance, there's not a lot of fastballs that get by him. When he's out of balance, you can beat him upstairs, even though statistically he's been able to beat a lot of pitchers with high fastballs. But velocity, once he gets over 95, 96, a little bit of a different story.
And a lot of the qualities that have come to define this Phillies team, this Phillies run, the chemistry, the belief, the fun, have started with this man, Kyle Schwarber, in his first year with the team. Curve is in for a strike.
You know you're strong when you lead all of baseball in the last 2 years with homers to center field. That's the deepest part of the park. That's where the pitcher wants to keep you. And you see the distances he's been able to kind of accrue here. That looks like a golf cart par 4. Those are the distance of par fours he's hitting them.
Driving the green on a few. Fouls off this eye heater. 5 home runs as a rookie in the postseason in 2015. 2016, the legendary one in the World Series, where he missed the whole year. If he blew out his knee in the second game of the season, came back for the World Series and hit .412. 200 days after his most recent game. Is the first player in the history of the majors to get his first hit of the year in the World Series.
Well, he's also the one that's incorporated the pitching machine and set in curveballs and sliders before BP. And he brought that into play, brought some young players in the mix. And talking to Rob Thompson, I said, is that a normal occurrence? He said, since Schwarber has put that into play, they've been working hard on, they can't simulate the speed, but they can kind of get the break off that machine.
Good lead at first from Marcia. Schwarber hits one down the line, but foul. Lance Barksdale, the first base umpire, all over it.
He had 1.3 seconds to make that decision.
Oh, did he? I think that's way too much time. It was a .00. Oh man, oh man. Yeah. Good call. It was fair for a long time. 6-man umpiring crew doing a nice job in this World Series. Trip Gibson, balls and strikes for the first time in the World Series in his career.
I think that invites a breaking ball here. He got on top of that fastball and turned it quick.
Used the breaking ball for strike 1 on Schwarber.
This one you get to the back foot. This one you try to get in the inside part of the plate, break it down, get him to swing over the top if you're thinking about how quickly he was on that fastball. Hitters and pitchers next year are going to have faster times to process all the information they're given. Stay in the box, 18 seconds.
With the pitch clock coming to baseball next year. Another 0-2. Back-footed, but missed. Almost hit him in the back foot.
But did you see his reaction and how he wanted to go after that pitch? And that was nowhere close to a strike. So, again, elevating that pitch just about a foot. This thing bounces in front of the plate, and he wanted to go after it.
Guy with 13 postseason home runs in his career. No score, bottom 3, game 4. 1-2 pitch. There goes Marsh. Schwarber takes strike 3. Vasquez throws, not in time. Second stolen base for the Phillies tonight.
Great jump and a great throw. He gets a huge jump. Gets the called strike 3 and the throw's on the money, but I think the foot gets to the bag, obviously.
Or are the Phillies doing this off Vasquez, who's in for Maldonado, the guy they call the machete, or does Javier need to be faster?
Javier.
Okay.
Yeah. He's trying to make a quality pitch to a great hitter and paying less attention to the runner.
The Phillies a good aggressive base running team during the regular year. Couple steals tonight. Chance for Hoskins with 2 out. Ball. Takes ball 1. Hoskins popped out his first time. Another chance for him to do it in front of his home crowd. 6 homers and 12 knocked in this postseason. 5 and 11 of those coming at home.
These 2-out RBIs are backbreakers to the other team, too.
Well, 2-0, and we go down to Tom Verducci.
Well, in the NLCS clincher, Joe, Rhys Hoskins hit a home run in the 3rd inning. In the 5th inning, his wife went to the concession stand and bought 50 beers for Phillies fans. Last night, Rhys Hoskins hit a home run in the 5th inning. His wife went to the concession stand and bought 50 beers for Philly fans. And you know what she's doing tonight in the 5th inning? As Rhys Hoskins said, she's more popular with Philly fans than I am.
2-0 pitch. Hoskins fights it off, but right to the first baseman, Gurriel. No score after 3 innings. First one in this World Series where nobody's exploded early. Aaron Nola facing the Astros for the 2nd time. You always wonder how a guy's going to adjust. He's thrown more curveballs.
Yeah, he has. And this guy's getting closer to hitting a big one here. He's missed a couple inner half pitches, has Bregman.
Into center field. Marsh. Another first pitch out for Nola.
And that's a beautiful thing for a pitcher.
Back-to-back innings that he's gotten that.
Pitching in the World Series or postseason is all about stress, and only 1 stress inning so far for kind of each guy. But when the stress innings came up, Nola went to his best stuff in bottom of the order and got out of it. Javier with 2 runners on second, harmless pop-ups. That's what you want. You want as easy and clean of innings as possible, especially when you know it's going to be a tight game. And so far, that's what we have.
This is what I like. Offense, home runs, they're fun, but tight, tense pitcher's duel where one swing can decide it. Tucker doubled his first time off a breaking ball and grounds this one foul. And so for Tucker, 2 home runs against Nola in the first game, then an 0 for 8 slide. And then seeing Nola again, just what the doctor ordered. Some guys that he just happened to get. And for him, it's this all-star pitcher.
Yeah, you mentioned it. The curveball's up, the 4-seam fastball's down compared to the first game. Oh, and those are the adjustments you make. Look, you know, I learned a long time ago, watch film for information, but don't watch negative film. Like, you don't watch that game thinking and watching negative stuff. You watch it for information, or you look at what you want to be positive about moving forward. So you always watch before you pitch a positive game, not the previous game that you didn't do well.
Tucker fouls it off 1 and 2. The mental side of it, such a big
it's huge. It's huge because you can get caught in just watching the things that, oh man, I hung this here and I didn't do this, that, and next thing you know, that film's in your head. You got to erase that film. You watch it for information, then you go to something positive and you execute your game plan until the hitters show you why you need to adjust.
Information, not emotion. 8-year veteran Aaron Nola deals a 1-2, and Tucker takes a change. Kyle Tucker, 25 years old, in his 3rd World Series. Nola doubled up on the changeup to him. Count goes full.
Those are great discipline takes, but the reason those were able to be taken is he didn't establish the fastball away for a strike or a foul ball, so he's tracking those pitches. I wonder if he'll go to a 3-2 breaking ball here.
That's what he doubled on his first time. It's a fastball. It's banged on the line to right for Castellanos. Right at him. 2 out.
He laced that one. Those are the kind of loud outs that you go, all right, Adam ball.
Take it. 108. The exit velocity. 95 is considered hard hit. This very hard hit. Bad aim.
Mr. Locked in.
That's right. Best defender in the world out there these days. So that is 7 straight retired since the Astros put 2 on in the second. Here's Gurriel. Gurriel into left center field. That's a base hit. Marsh hustles over to cut it off. Gurriel hangs on with a long single. Good play by Brandon Marsh to keep Gurriel out of scoring position.
I like what Gurriel did there. He ran anticipating maybe I could get 2 and letting the fielder determine if his wide turn at first was going to get him back. But he got out of the box thinking, okay, it might skip by. You never know. Much better hit. Gurriel's got some hits, but they haven't been that variety. He's laced the ball.
Number 1 average on the Astros in this postseason after a miserable regular season. He now has the most hits of any Cuban-born player in the World Series. 25 of them. Playing in his fourth one. So now it's Christian Vasquez. Hit by pitches first time. One of the big issues for Nola the last couple starts has been pitching with runners on base. And so far tonight, once the Astros have gotten guys on, he's made some really good pitches. So the big difference there, he pitches out of the stretch in these situations. Home to Vasquez. Shot to right, base hit. Back-to-back two-out hits for the Astros.
Well, last night, this is almost a carbon copy again. I mean, this is 2 outs, get a rally going, but the bottom of the order has not been able to deliver. We talked about yesterday 1 through 5 had only gotten 1 hit, and the bottom order got the hits with 2 outs, and it never turned around. Well, with 2 outs again, this Astros team has put 2 more runners on, yet to cash in, and it's going to be up to the man who's really been struggling and swinging at a lot of pitches out of the zone.
Astros have not scored in 15 innings. Trying to score first in game 4. Ledmus Diaz muscles one on the ground to short. Bryson Stott throws to get him. And the scoreless streak continues for Houston. Aaron Nola again makes a pitch when he has to with men on base. Middle 4 in game 4. 0-0 between the Phillies and the Astros.
Well, you think you're going to get a fastball 70% of the time, you might be right, but guess what? That slider is so filthy and turns the corner. If you're guessing fastball and you get that, you're not hitting it.
Yeah, and it's with that slider that he got JT Realmuto, who leads off his 4th inning. Really abused him with that pitch. Realmuto stood no shot his first time. And the Dane broke. Spins one in there for a strike. This is spotted a little bit, but found the zone. Phillies still looking for their first hit. They have 2 walks against Javier. After scoring 7 runs in game 3 last night. 0-1 pitch. Another breaking ball, and it's 0-2.
Well, that release point right there has really been good on his breaking ball. The fastball release point gets a little wonky, and he can throw it and get lateral and miss up. But if he gets connected with his fastball and then stays with that slot out of his slider that we just showed you in a breakdown, it's a tough combination for any hitter.
Realmuto, Harper, Castellanos coming up in this inning. It'll be Bohm if they get a man aboard. Phillies 2 wins from their 3rd World Championship, 1980, 2008. They're looking to make 2022 the most improbable of them all. 22-29 at one point this year. Last team into the postseason. Upset the Cardinals, upset the Braves, beat the Padres. Leading 2-1 in this World Series. Realmuto's down on a high fastball. Breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball, and then whoop.
This guy's fun to watch. I know he's not fun to hit against, but it's free and easy, and it doesn't look like he's even sweating.
Yeah, now he faces Bryce Harper, who walked his first time. Biggest star on the biggest stage. Harper fouls it back. Fastball caught a lot of the plate.
I see Harper, and he is a totally different player, even though he has kind of the same swing. And you wonder how long he can keep that swing, right? He's got, what, 9 more years left on the contract or whatever it is. At some point, the swing being that violent, unless he's in incredible shape at the age of 39. But right now, he's letting it fly and having success.
Not an 0-1 pitch. Harper grounds it foul, and it's 0-2. Fourth year of a 13-year, $330 million deal. We mentioned last night that John Middleton said, I'm not sure you can say you underpaid somebody when you gave him that much, but when you look at what he's doing this postseason, well, we might have just underpaid the guy.
And I've said this before, and talking to officials here with Philadelphia that were with the team, they've said he's done everything and more off the field. Leadership, he's a totally different player than the obvious early age one.
Down swinging here. Christian Javier blows a fastball by Bryce Harper. Back-to-back Ks against back-to-back all-star hitters.
And do you see how easy that was with his arm action? This is a fastball that we talked about. Looks like he's throwing uphill. It looks like he can do that all day. And especially when he gets strikes early, we talked about it. He goes up above the zone, and that's just electric heat that a hitter thinks, I'm on it. And then you're not.
Just 25 years old. Pitching with a quiet and growing confidence. Nick Castellanos, 2 gone in the fourth. Strike 1 and a fastball. You mentioned him looking like he's not even sweating. Those very first minor league coaches noticed that he never seemed to be in much of a hurry. Like no matter what he was doing, pitching, walking, everything he did was just kind of slow. And then he goes out there in his first game and fires 6 no-hit innings. And one of the coaches says this dude is cold-blooded. And so they gave him the nickname El Reptil, the Spanish word for reptile. El Reptil, cold-blooded in another big environment, in another big game. Just 1 hit against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. Over 5 1/3 shutout innings in the championship series. Now doing it in the World Series. Behind Castellanos, 2-1.
Well, you know when you get in games like this as a pitcher, I've said it before, it's the perfect scenario. Do your part, keep it to zeros, have your team score late. You're locked in the entire game. Now, Philadelphia and Suarez was the only one that had that luxury of 7-0, 5-0, early on, but tight ball game right here.
2-2.
They're fun to pitch in, but then they're not. So, because the longer this game goes, the leash gets shorter because the bullpens are both charged up and ready, and it only takes 1 mistake. You can't think like that, and no pitcher should, but the fun part is both pitchers are in the rhythm, short times in between. You get out, do your thing, hope your team scores, and you just keep hit and repeat.
John Smoltz, veteran of 41 postseason games. Castellanos down swinging, and Christian Javier blowing his fastball by Phillies hitters. Strikes out the side. Nothing but hard stuff. El Reptil, cold-blooded on the biggest stage. We're back after a word from your local Fox station. Well, a team has raced out to an early lead in each of the first 3 games. Game 1, it was 5-0 Houston after 3 innings. Game 2, it was 4-0 Houston after 1 inning. Game 3, the Phillies were up 4-0 after 2, but Christian Javier and Aaron Nola punch for punch in this one through 4. No score to the 5th. McCormick takes a strike.
I miss that feeling. That shot we just showed of Javier where you sit down, you got your own thoughts, you're just staying locked in till you go back on the mound, you're just thinking about everything. That is actually the funnest part of your job, even though there's severe stress put on you here in the World Series.
So they give you a little break from the stress, kind of go back to your quiet place there.
You reset, and some guys, like, I'm sure no one's going to talk to him. It might be his personality. That's fine. But I didn't mind people talking to me. I just wanted to kill time until I got back out there and tried to stay in that tunnel. Because you're in the tunnel as Nola is right now on the mound.
McCormick to the hole. It's short from short left field. Bryson Stott's throw is laid at an infield hit for Chas McCormick to open the 5th inning.
McCormick he got down the line pretty good, and another great play by Stott. Almost impossible to throw him out. Not necessarily known for his cannon, but he's made every play so far at shortstop.
I was going to say, we were showing that shot of Javier sitting there. You never sat that still for that long in your whole life.
No, I actually did, even though I'm not that way personality-wise.
Force yourself?
Yeah, you just kind of, you have to. You got to kind of reserve energy is what I call it. Yeah, I was a maniac for 4 days in between. I could slow down a little when I was pitching.
Now it's 365 days a year movement.
Yeah.
Constant movement. Top of the order for the Astros. If the Astros are going to win this World Series, Altuve and Alvarez got to get going. Altuve's 0 for 2 today.
And you know what, Joe, we've yet to see him kind of go. I know he's a pull hitter, and I know when he's on balance he can hit anything, but he's yet to really take away the pitcher's outside part of the plate and go to right center and beat a pitcher that way, because if you try to pull that pitch, you're hitting it to the left side on the ground.
Leadoff man on. Altuve late on a fastball.
And the reason he's late is he's trying to pull it. And so that's a great pitch away. And if a hitter doesn't deviate or change, then it's tough. You're waiting for a mistake. And right now we haven't seen too many mistakes out of Nola. And that's how you make an adjustment from start to start. He made too many mistakes. The Astros took advantage of it. And tonight he is on his game.
After giving up 5 in game 1. His 0-1. Altuve over short and into left. Base hit Jose Altuve, and the first 2 have reached for the Astros.
And again, just when we've seen the playbook was working away, they tried to sneak one into his wheelhouse, and he got a big hit. That pitch right there did more for Altuve when he couldn't touch anything away. And even if you're trying to get him off that pitch, it has to be so far inside. And this pitch was inner third, not a horrible pitch, but a pitch he can handle to a guy that all he's thought about since he got to the plate is pulling.
And McCormick and Altuve back-to-back singles to open this 5th. And now a quick word from Capital One.
Capital One is the official bank and credit card partner of Major League Baseball. What's in your wallet?
And you know that Rob Thompson is not going to wait around. He sends Caleb Cotham out there. He's got the left-hander Jose Alvarado warming with Alvarez on deck.
We do not see bunts anymore. I get it. It's a different era. But this would be a classic case to bunt the runners over with 3 and 4 coming up for the Astros. I know no one likes to waste outs, but when you're facing a pitcher that's on his game and you have not scored in the last 16 innings, you have got to put pressure on him and find a way to check in on the scoreboard for the Astros. I'm thinking the Phillies might anticipate it. That could be part of the meeting they went out there, but we don't get a chance to see bunts very often.
Well, Jeremy Pena in his first year in the majors 1 sacrifice bunt. Astros this year 9 sacrifice bunts. 2 on, nobody out. Top of the 5th inning. ALCS MVP has really struggled against Nola tonight. Phillies are thinking bunts in play. Corners are tucked way in. Pena swings away and comes up empty on a breaker.
And I'm just telling you, he might get a hanging breaking ball, but if Nola, if he just hits that pitch, meaning he locates that pitch, Pena's going to have a hard time making contact.
Nola has owned him with breaking stuff today, striking him out both times and getting strike 1 here. There's the square and a bunt foul, but it comes with already 1 strike against it.
But that's not a bunt. That you got to square around and make a sacrifice bunt. You cannot try to bunt to surprise somebody for a hit. When you saw Dusty shake his head, that is a jab, and that is just not he didn't get around to sacrifice in time. That's too late, and he tried to jab at the ball.
And now Pena in an 0-2 hole.
It really is the easiest thing to do if you want to do it. If you want to practice it and you want to put the time in, and I know that's kind of an oxymoron because it doesn't happen, but when you need a situation like that for it to happen, you can't give a hitter 1 attempt. He swung away, and then they gave him 1 attempt to get it down.
Well, count now evens 2-2.
Now, to his credit, those are 2 great takes. Curveball away. Changeup that looked like a fastball that he could have come out of his shoes to hit.
Youngsters showing so much poise in this postseason. Championship Series MVP at Yankee Stadium. The rookie rips one through, base hit. It was hit so hard that they just go station to station, and the bases are loaded.
I said if Nola executed his pitches, Pena could not get a hit. He did not execute his pitch. He left a breaking ball over the plate for Pena to hit it. Watch where this pitch is. This is going to be up, and he smokes it. And to your point, hit it so hard, no chance for a run to score.
3 straight singles, and that is going to end the game for Aaron Nola. That bullpen very well rested. The top pieces having not pitched since game 1. Rob Thompson will go to him here. Nola leaves. No score. Bases juice. Yordan Alvarez. Want to throw Robertson and Eflin in that group. They've not pitched since game 1 on Friday.
Yeah, and in no regular season game would they ever pitch in this situation, but this is not a regular season game. Bases loaded, nobody out. This is one of the best lefty hitters against left-handed pitchers. So this matchup is strength on strength. Good low ball hitter. Hits homers off of curveballs as well. And so he's got one of the most incredible cutters. And in this situation right here, if you're Rob Thompson, you're trying to get out of this with 1 run or none. Because if they break it open here, or they score multiple runs, you've used your highest leverage pitcher in the 5th inning of a game that's 0-0.
This is when he came in game 1 as well. Left-hander against left-hander. Yordan Alvarez gets hit by the first pitch, and that's how Houston gets the first run of game 4. Jose Alvarado comes out of the bullpen. His first appearance in 5 days, and he plunks Alvarez with the bases loaded.
I'm telling you, I understand in theory the move. I do. But it is giving this guy no room for error. And obviously first pitch crushes him on a probably 100-mile-an-hour fastball. So now you've created a situation with their 2 lethal hitters to put this game with some distance and a pitcher on the other side that's locked in. So this is a crucial at bat to get an out somewhere, trade an out, get a double play. But now you're looking at the Astros getting a crooked number.
And you've got a right-handed hitter in Bregman up there. Strike 1 at 100.
No, there's more.
Pretty good pitch after drilling somebody.
Bregman 4 grand slams in his career.
Well, Bregman is short and quick to the ball, so 100 miles an hour. He will not overswing that.
0-2. Bottom falls out. That's 96 and a cutter.
Yeah, but a cutter is a different story when you're trying to get ready for 100. I can't tell you how many times I'd be sitting in a dugout hoping my player would hit into a double play. And you say, why would you hope he hit into a double play? Because you're getting another run. If he hits at the shortstop, it's 2-0, even though you lose 2 outs.
0-2 pitch. Fouls it off. Good. I mentioned the 4 grand slams for Alex Bregman in his career. One of those came in the World Series. It is the only grand slam in the World Series for an Astro. 2019 game 4 against Fernando Rodney in Washington. And he launched it, one of his 6 World Series home runs. One of his 15 postseason home runs.
Well, he's in a battle right now. It's 0-2 against a nasty pitcher.
Alex Bregman in an 0-2 hole. Waits on this pitch. Here it comes. Cracks one to right. Down the line. That's a fair ball. Alex Bregman delivers. 2 runs are in. Bregman to second with a 2-run double. And the Astros lead at 3-0. On an 0-2 pitch against the flame-throwing Jose Alvarado, Alex Bregman comes through.
The only way you can hit this pitch is you cannot have a big swing. 0-2. He's very disciplined. Watch how quick he is to the ball. He doesn't have to. He knows he doesn't have to pull that pitch. He just has to get it airborne, and he's got another run. Well, he got it airborne, and he got 2 runs. And like I said, the inning that could get away from the Philadelphia Phillies is on the brink of the Astros putting a really big crooked number already, 3-0.
3 in the bank, nobody out. Second and third for Kyle Tucker. So the book now closed on Aaron Nola. Tucker fouls it off.
It's just, having been there, done that, knowing how hard of a situation Alvarado had to face. He's one of their best, and he's been awesome. Bases loaded gives you 0 room for error. You've got to be on with every pitch. You're hoping the best case scenario is that 1 or none, right? And right now, the best case scenario is maybe 4 and no more.
Tucker drills one to right center. Marsh to his left. He's there. Here comes number 4. Throw goes to third. Bregman is in there safely. Sacrifice fly for Kyle Tucker, and it's a 4 spot for the Astros in the 5th.
Those were professional at-bats. Those are the reason why we've talked about the Houston Astros as one of the best contact teams in baseball. Yes, they were shut down and hadn't scored for 16+ innings, but when they needed it the most, in a game that was tight, they have broken it open and taken the sting out of this crowd.
Gurriel. He's got Bregman at third, one away. He bounces one down the line, foul. Another chance for a professional at bat to bring in a run.
And you said he hasn't struck out all postseason.
Still has not. He's 1 for 2 today, John, and in 45 plate appearances, 0 Ks. That's the longest stretch without a strikeout in the postseason since Yuli Gurriel did it in 2019.
Well, if I'm Alvarado, I'm throwing that nasty cutter as best I can to get him to swing over the top of it.
Infield in, 0-1. It is cutter, and he didn't get the call. One and 2. Sonola, who is cruising through 4, ends up giving up 3 runs on 7 hits. 3 of those hits coming in succession to open this 5th inning, and all 3 coming in to score. Ground ball, base hit. Yuli Gurriel with a 2-strike hit. Houston with a 5-0 lead. They went 15 innings without a run. They strike for 5 in this inning alone.
Well, if you ever want a team to get fired up, watch this video in this inning, because it has been a clinic off of some of the toughest pitches you'll see. 2-strike cutter, didn't quite get down to the ground to swing over the top, and a classic hit out of Gurriel. And the Astros finally have something to cheer about.
We're talking about these teams racing out to big leads. It didn't happen in this one. It just happened a little later. It's another team exploding away, pulling away. It's the 3rd time in this series that the Astros have opened up a lead of at least 4-0. And it's now all 4 games in this series. One of the 2 teams has led at least 4-0. Strike 1 on Vasquez. Successful return to the lineup for him. He got hit by a pitch, and he's single. Yeah, the other side of the coin is the Astros are sitting there with a 5-0 lead, and the Phillies don't have a hit against Christian Javier through 4.
Well, we'll see how Javier deals with, we talk about anytime a starter gets about a 20-minute or so break, that means his team, barring an injury, his team has scored some runs. And so he's had a nice break, and that game that has gotten broken up for him, see if his rhythm stays the same when he comes back out the next inning. Really surprised no one's warming up for the Phillies right now.
1-2 on Vasquez. Alvarado very well rested, but you'd love to have him as fresh as possible for Game 5 tomorrow. Andrew Bellotti takes the coat off and starts to loosen up. Christian Vasquez, the 8th man to the plate in the inning for the Astros, is down and swinging. On a cutter. 2 gone in the 5th. Game 5 tomorrow night. Coverage begins at 7 o'clock Eastern. Astros trying to tie this series up at 2 games apiece. Justin Verlander goes tomorrow. Phillies are looking at essentially a bullpen game, likely to be started by Noah Syndergaard. And then the scene would shift back to Houston. Game 6 on Saturday. Aledmys Diaz. Ball 0 for 2 tonight. 1 for 20 in the postseason. It's another snapshot of how fast things shift in a postseason series. One moment the Phillies are thinking, man, could we clinch this thing at home this week? The next moment, the Astros are sitting over the 5-0 lead saying we got them right where we want them. Somebody had to win Game 3. Whoever does takes a massive lead when it comes to the narratives and the feel-goods. The other team's 1 win away from completely leveling that talk.
Yeah, and you never know when guys are going to get on track or click. The top of the order had been dormant, right? They had done nothing, and then all of a sudden 5 in a row. And it's the bottom of the order that you're more concerned about how they're going to get any contributions with the 7, 8, 9. And so it's kind of flip-flop tonight. These Astros, I'm not saying you got a switch you turn on, but they know they had to battle and make Nola work for everything he had tonight. And it paid off so far.
The 1-2, there goes Gurriel, pitches inside. Realmuto's throw is late. And Yuli Gurriel, at 38 years old, steals a base here in the World Series.
Got a jump that he's sure Alvarado didn't think he was even thinking about running.
Fifth career postseason steal for Gurriel. On 2-2, Diaz takes ball 3. All started with Chas McCormick. Singled against Nola to begin the inning. Altuve and Pena singled as well. That chased Nola from the game. Fly ball down the right field line. Castellanos over and out of room. Later this month, the biggest sporting event in the world kicks off as Christian Pulisic leads the U.S. men's national team. They return to the World Cup stage for the first time in 8 years. It's the FIFA World Cup. November 20th, it all begins on Fox and FS1. 22nd pitch coming for Jose Alvarado. It's another 3-2. Diaz takes strike 3. It finishes off the top scoring inning in World Series history for the Astros. They go from getting shut out over 15 straight innings to splurging for 5 in the top of the 5th, and we're halfway home in Game 4. Capital One. The Astros, in search of pushing this series back to Houston, have a 5-0 lead in Game 4. Yet to lose back-to-back games this postseason. After they dropped last night's game 7-0, they get 5 runs in the top of the 5th here And they've got Christian Javier, who has struck out 7, not given up a hit, although he went a long time between pitches there.
30 minutes. And I'm kind of surprised about the first swing there out of Bohm, seeing if the Astros righty could lose command of the fastball, but he came out swinging right after that delay.
Ball in.
1 ball, 1 strike. Now Bohm hit a home run on the first pitch that he saw in last night's game. Struck out against Javier his first time tonight. Sterling performance. The 25-year-old Christian Javier fouls it back. Great example of that fastball just being sneaky fast. 93, and these late swings just kind of defensive.
Yeah, you know, a hitter's looking for release point, and he's looking for a ball about, I'd say, 6 feet out in front, right? And the ball that's 6 feet out in front before it climbs or crosses home plate, he's anticipating where that is to start his swing. Well, with a fastball like that, you think you're on it, and you're actually below it because the ball has extra hop past you, and he has shown tonight. What I love about his game so far tonight is he said, I'm going to attack my strength, even though it might be the other team's strength, and start someone had to punch the Phillies lineup and put up some zeros. So far, he's done that.
You're right, though, dude. He's not even sweaty.
No.
Literally not sweaty. Joss misses here, 2-2. Let's go down to Kenny.
Guys, at the end of Javier's last inning, I received a text from Rays manager Kevin Cash. He said, John, you explained Javier perfectly. He said, and I quote, Javier is ridiculous, maybe the best pitcher on both rosters. Now, good news for the other team in Florida. Oz Ocampo, who as the Astros international scouting director signed Javier, Framber Valdez, Jose Urquidy, and Luis Garcia for a combined $140,000. He is the Marlins' new assistant general manager.
And one of his prize pickups, Christian Javier, just went to the bottom of the zone with a fastball to get his 4th straight K.
That's what his manager said he loves. When he sees him do that, then he knows he's locked in.
And here's what Kenny is touching on. All these signings, guys that look at the ages they sign. Most big prospects sign when they turn 16, 17 years old, days before he turned 18, 19, and 21. These are key components of this Astros staff and have been the last few years, these glory years. 1 ball, no strikes on Bryson Stott. So Jose Urquidy, who had 3 scoreless innings last night in relief. Of course, you had Framber Valdez pitch into the 7th inning in Game 2. First time a starter had done that in the World Series in 3 years. He signed when he was 21.
Well, that last inning was a byproduct of, unfortunately, Nola making some interesting pitch selections because he was on his game. He deserved a lot better than what is going to be on his scorecard. He made a bad pitch to Altuve, and he made a bad pitch to Pena, and unfortunately that cost him the exit. Even though he was in rhythm and he had control and command of his pitches, that cost him the chance to come out now with the bases loaded, and Alvarado came in.
Stott floats one foul.
And see, again, not to harp on this, but if that was a regular season game, under no circumstances would you take out your starter, because he still has the chance to get out of that inning without it being an explosion. But because the postseason creates moments and tension, and you want to eliminate that kind of inning, they brought in really their highest leverage pitcher in an impossible situation with the bases loaded, hoping for minimal damage.
A 1-2 to Stott. Another fastball to the knees. 5 consecutive strikeouts for Javier.
He's no reason to change. He's covered the top of the zone, the bottom of the zone. You see the 9 strikeouts. We talked about a fly ball pitcher. The infielders right now, nada. They're not getting anything.
9 Ks for Javier. Gene Segura takes a little high. They did this in the championship series at Yankee Stadium. He did it in the regular season at Yankee Stadium. It's 7 no-hit innings in June. Struck out 13 over 7 no-hit innings against the Yankees in June. They finished that no-hitter off with Neris and Presley. On a strike on Segura. Some guys, and we've talked about this as this postseason has gone on, some guys, the bigger the moment, the better they get. And he seems like very quickly in his major league career, he's proven to be one of them.
Well, the good thing is Vasquez and him are not overthinking it. It seems pretty simple. The sign is given. He puts his head down and he delivers. I mean, you're seeing an offense, and we said it in the open. If somebody doesn't slow this offense down at home, they're not going back to Houston. This offense has seen some weak swings and some, pop-ups. They've only squared up probably 3 balls all night. And that's how you take care of a confident machine in the Phillies offense here at home.
After they had 5 home runs in last night's game, they're looking for their first hit here in the 5th. Segura pops it up. More weak contact. And how about this? Christian Javier in Game 4 of the World Series has pitched 5 no-hit innings. Andrew Bellotti, who came on last night, is going to come into the game here. This has turned into a situation where, unfortunately for the Phillies, they stay away from their top arms moving forward here, but they've burnt one of the big ones.
Yep, and Houston knows they've got to finish this game off. So they've been shown that they could get to the 5 runs, but then they haven't scored late. They don't score late very often on the year, so they understand what game 1 and 2 was like. This a must-win.
Jazz McCormick swings and misses, strike 1. Yeah, 8 of the 10 runs for the Astros in the series coming into this game were in the first 3 innings. And all 10 or all 15 that they've scored in the World Series have come over the first 5. Still looking for their first run from this point and later in a game. McCormick started the rally last inning with a single. Ball and a strike on him. Jess McCormick, a guy that just keeps on finding a way, keeps on beating the odds. Local guy, lightly recruited out of high school. So he winds up at a Division II school. He was one of the best Division II hitters in the country throughout his career there at Millersville University, about an hour and a half from here. But he doesn't get drafted until the 21st round after his senior year. It would have been an impressive story had it ended there, which has beating the odds by making it to pro ball out of Division II. But he kept getting better, kept climbing the ladder, made it to the majors last year. And now 2 years of fighting for his spot in the majors. He's beaten the odds one more time. He's taken hold of center field for the Astros in this World Series run. Reaching base more than half of the time in the World Series. On a 1-2 from Bellotti. Fouls back a heater. Said he was bummed that he couldn't go to the Eagles game on Sunday. They traveled in. They had a workout here at Citizens Bank Park. Diehard Eagles fan from Westchester, Pennsylvania. He was 13 when the Phillies last won the World Series in 2008, right at the peak of his fandom. Good slider from Bellotti. 1 away in the 6th.
Bellotti has that tight slider, and when it's on, it's on. It takes the corner, and good spin on his slider when it's turning the corner, and when it backs up, it's a little more hittable.
Back to the top in Altuve.
Big at bat, that one hit, that 1 for 3, sparked that rally, kept it going. Got a pitch and he didn't miss it. That's what Altuve does.
Now he sends one in the air down the left field line, way up there. When it comes down in the corner, there are 2 gone in the 6th. Down to the field, Tom Verducci's got Alex Bregman.
Alex, you were down 0-2 to a guy throwing $1 billion out there. How did you get to Alvarado, and how big of a hit was it?
I was just trying to square the ball up, trying to put something in play. The guys did a great job in front of me getting on base, and was fortunate enough to put a good swing on it. With a lot of game left. We got to keep going.
Thanks so much, Alex.
Alex in his 4th World Series already. At the age of 28, he says having more fun than ever. A new perspective of being a dad. Wife Reagan gave birth beginning of August. 2 outs. Here's Jeremy Pena. Inside ball 1. And Alex is the kind of guy who obsesses over baseball and would have a hard time leaving his struggles at the park, would go home and kind of sulk throughout the night, come back and still be weighing on him. But he says comes back now with kind of a clear head each day. Able to shut off a little bit with a new perspective, being a dad. Pena on 1-0. Cracks it foul, 1-1.
Well, he also had a huge hit after swinging wildly on the first pitch, trying to bunt on the second. I mean, there were some just gigantic 2-strike hits in this game for the Astros, who really had not mustered any offense. And give them credit again. The formula that has gotten them here, putting the ball in play in crucial situations, paying off big time in the 5th.
Pena hits a ball to left center field that Schwarber will flag down, and a 1-2-3-6 inning for Andrew Bellotti. The story tonight, though, Christian Javier, the 25-year-old, whipping fastballs by these Phillies hitters. 5 no-hit innings in the World Series. Christian Javier is the first pitcher with 9 Ks through 5 no-hit innings. 9-hitter Brandon Marsh grounds it foul, strike 1.
Well, he has done exactly what you need to do with a fastball that is a very good fastball hitting team. He has beat them to the punch. And credit him and the game plan so far, because, look, we talked about maybe not throwing a ton of first pitch strikes. He's kind of accomplished that. He's gotten to 2 strikes. When he does, awfully tough to hit against.
A 1 to Marsh. Slice down the line. Long run for Diaz. He's out of room. Well, unfortunately, probably not going to get a chance to watch him chase histories of 79 pitches. He threw 84 in his championship series start, which is his only start over the last month, and he's only exceeded 100 pitches twice. And already, Brian Abreu has started to warm. And again, he was part of a combined no-hitter back in June at Yankee Stadium. Brandon Marsh, who walked his first time. It's been turned on its head here. He's behind 0-2 very quickly. Javier deals. Hammer in the dirt. The 1-2 fouls it back.
I'm pretty good at math. I like math. I like numbers.
Don't like to brag, but
I'll see if I'm testing my theory right.
Okay, go.
If no team loses 2 in a row, the Phillies win the World Series, right?
Oh man, algorithms and stuff. Yeah.
Well, first things first, Houston's trying to not lose 2 games in a row, and they're doing their part right now at 5-0.
It's a 1-2.
Oh,
just outside 2-2. Did you like chart that out?
It just came to me.
Yeah.
Came like quick. And then usually when it comes quick, I spit it out quick. That doesn't mean it
doesn't always work. No. I think this time it did. Yeah. That's like one of those things on an IQ test. You know, that big question they can put on there. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Marsh. Starting the 6th. Ground ball right side. Candy Jose Altuve. 1 gone in the 6th. So 6 of the 9 strikeouts, John, have come off fastballs.
Yeah. Here's what we're talking about. Here's how you make a statement. You throw the fastball when you need to. You throw it with the exact effort that he did. And he beat a lot of really good hot hitters at the top of the zone, even at the bottom of the zone when he needs to. And this fastball plays. It's played all year. It's the reason why nobody gets a lot of hits. And so far, so good for the Houston Astros' hottest pitcher. That's right. He's their hottest pitcher because he's in rhythm in a time when you would like to think about, what, now 6 starts he's had without giving up a run?
Yep.
The last 6?
1 run allowed in his last 37+ innings. That was in relief in the division series. A ball on Schwarber. Phillies sent to get their 3rd look at him. Schwarber flied out his first time, struck out looking at a breaking ball his 2nd time. Christian Javier out of a tiny town on the outskirts of the capital in Dominican Republic, Santo Domingo, La Victoria. He was an outfielder before he was a pitcher. That was right up until he was 15, 16 years old. He's an outfielder with a strong arm, but not a lot of range and no bat, he'd tell you. So he gives pitching a try, and he's only throwing 86, but as soon as he started pitching, he had that fastball nobody could seem to hit. Couldn't figure out why, but he kept on throwing it, and it was what caught the attention of the Astros. They signed him just shy of his 18th birthday. Even then, $10,000 contract. He's far from any prospect radar, but he kept performing. The velocity kept ticking up. He's somebody who always studies and tries to find ways to get better, and he's gone from anonymous prospect to 5+ no-hit innings in the World Series. It's 2-2 on Kyle Schwarber.
First pitch, he threw his fastball and got out of his mechanics. Tried to throw it a little bit too hard and just got away from it and missed it up and away. But we talked about, you know, what makes pitchers special. It's either late life that comes out of their hand that you can't read as a hitter, or it's that spin and illusion of that uphill tilt to that four-seamer. You know, you play catch with guys, and I always explain, well, someone says, well, what's late life? Well, it's that extra hop that you can't really show with numbers. But if you're playing catch with a guy and he has late life, you think you're going to catch it, and the ball actually catches you. The ball comes to your glove before you think you're catching it. He has a little bit of that magic as well.
Home with a 2-2. Schwarber on the ground into the shift. Pena knocks it down, throws him out. 2 gone in the 6th. The Phillies team that has scored 7 runs a game in this ballpark this postseason. No runs on no hits tonight. Rhys Hoskins to the plate. We go to the field. Tom Verducci.
Yeah, and talking to Phillies hitting coach Kevin Long before the game, he called this an important top hand night for his hitters. That means getting on top of that high fastball with the top hand. They knew that coming in, but Javier's fastball is so special. They are still swinging underneath that fastball. They've swung 34 times at that fastball, and they fouled it off 23 times. Most of them straight back in the air because they're hitting the bottom of the baseball. That's because of what's called ride on Javier's fastball. It fights gravity, so the pitch literally is 3 inches higher than where a hitter is trained to expect it to land, and that's why they're hitting the bottom of the baseball even as the lineup turns around and they keep seeing that pitch. In his last 36 innings, Joe, hitters are 8 for 116 off Christian Javier. Wow.
Amazing. And the beauty of that, and all to back up what Tom's talking about, he's staying in his mechanics to do that. If you get out of your mechanics and you tilt your hand or get on the side of the ball or don't stay behind it, you're going to alter that gift you have. And so far so good, as they're going to watch him real close from this point on. But man, he has been like he's playing catch with a catcher. Only a couple times he rotated a little too far. He got to first base. He missed wide with his fastball. Other than that, they're not hitting it.
2 walks, that's it. 2-2 on Hoskins.
You know, when you see a sidearm pitcher, you see the ball. Look, you could tell he's throwing it up. The ball technically doesn't rise, but when you have the illusion that the ball is doing that or staying on plane longer, that's where the barrel of the bat gets underneath, and you don't pick it up. That's that special sauce he's got with that fastball.
Yeah, relative to the normal fastball you see, it's like, why is this not coming down where I think it's going to be? He fires 2-2. Count goes full on Hoskins. Realmuto on deck. Javier looking to finish off 6 in Game 4 of the World Series. His 3-2. Check swing foul. wasn't even in the rotation at the start of the year. El Reptile, cold-blooded again.
This is the situation again, up 5-0. You want them to hit their way on, right? But you invite a slider. If you think Hoskins on go to hit and you don't know how many more hitters that Javier's going to have, this would be a classic slider. Middle of the plate, break it away, 3-2 aggressive hitter, and you don't have to necessarily throw a strike with Hoskins up there.
It's one of the three guys that hasn't struck out in this game. Ground ball to short. Jeremy Pena. Christian Javier. A name to remember and a night to remember. 6 no-hit innings in the World Series.
Morrow, who has the same capabilities to do that against a lineup that is lethal like the Philadelphia Phillies lineup has been. That is drawing it up and painting the Picasso right there.
Jordan Alvarez fouls off first pitch from the new Phillies hurler. David Robertson, who pitched the 10th inning in game 1, gave up a hit and a walk, but no runs. And they would like for him to be part of that inner circle of trust, but been a little bit shaky so far in the postseason after coming off of the injured list with a calf issue. He injured in the wild card round, celebrating one of Bryce Harper's 6 home runs.
Well, you saw that high curveball right there. That really is a hard pitch to hit because not trained to really see the ball that high, and he can break it from top to bottom as good as anybody. Knuckle curveball.
One of the other things coming out of this game, John, for the Astros, Altuve's got the hit, and Alvarez has done some encouraging things.
Yeah, he's been in the middle of everything, and probably the most painful RBI he's had in a long time. Hit by pitch with the bases loaded.
Back foot breaker gets him swinging here. So 1 gone in this 7th inning, and for every home run hit this postseason, T-Mobile's donating $5 grand to Team Rubicon's hurricane recovery efforts. When you text RELIEF to 595959, T-Mobile donates another $5. 89 homers this postseason. That adds up to $445 grand in donations for hurricane relief. Well, the biggest swing of this game belongs to this man, Alex Bregman. Came up with the bases loaded in the 5th and had a 2-run double on a 2-strike pitch. Here he pops it up near to shallow left field where Schwarber and Stott come together, and Stott makes the catch at the last minute, taking charge. 2 up and 2 down, and this weekend starts Saturday strong with Big Noon Saturday on Fox. Max Duggan leading the Horned Frogs, their high-scoring attack, into a showdown with Texas Tech, and the Big Noon Kickoff crew is live in Fort Worth at 10 a.m. Eastern. Texas Tech and TCU following that. 2 gone in the 7th, and Kyle Tucker knocked in a run in the 5-run 5th as well. One of the rare bare-handed sluggers. Back to freshman year in high school, his batting gloves ripped, and before Kyle had time to go to buy a new pair, he had a couple of big games, and he said, you know what, I'm done with them. He's occasionally thrown them on in the major leagues as a slump buster, but he said this year, after trying it again, he said, nope, I don't like it. I'm going right back to this old school. I don't need gloves.
One thing you got to do when you're in that position, your hands have to remain pretty tough and callous, right? Because part of the reason for the gloves is grip, and obviously to take care of your hands with the amount of swings that these hitters. But the other part without it is you get a better feel. Some guys have a better feel with their hands and feeling the bat.
A little dirt, a little bat. 1-1 pitch. Ball 2.
I could never do it.
No.
I'm just like playing golf. I can't play golf without a glove.
Have you tried?
Yeah.
slump buster for you too. 2-1 pitch. Ball 3. Tucker takes the walk. On for the second time tonight.
The other thing these hitters are facing, a lot of relievers. And the more you see them, the better you feel like you got a chance. Even if the guy's super nasty, the more you see him in a short period of time, the better feel you have. And that's definitely going to be the case, for both teams with the remaining games left.
Willie Gurriel, 2 more hits in this one. 356 in the postseason. Pops this one in the infield. Alec Bohm. And we stretch in game 4. Astros with a 5-0 lead. Christian Hot Astros in game 4. Trying to even this series up at 2 games apiece. They have a 5-0 lead, and we welcome you back inside. Joe Davis with the Hall of Famer John Smoltz. And when they had to have a great start, they got that and more from Javier. Now turns it over to the bullpen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen some stretches now. Both offenses kind of hitting the skids at the time where the opposite team needed them to. And we talked about Houston having depth in their pitching, and this is the time they're going to try to flex it. Yeah. If they're going to take it back to Houston and extend the series and win it, it'll be because of their starting pitching and the depth of their rotation.
Into the bullpen they go here. A bullpen, John, that's given up 4 runs on 4 solo home runs, over 44 1/3 in this postseason. And it's Brian Abreu. I mean, take your pick. You can pretty much close your eyes and point, and you're going to find somebody that's nasty stuff. Strike 1 on JT Realmuto.
Yeah, straight line, big man that just goes downhill and throws. The ball looks smaller when he throws it. Let's just be honest. It just comes out like a ping pong ball. And this offense, which has shown the ability to come back, Philadelphia, has to strike here, I think, to have any hope.
Teeth of the lineup, you got Realmuto, Harper, and Castellanos still looking for their first hit of the game. Realmuto is 0 for 2 with a pair of Ks today, and in the 2 games in this park in this series is 0 for 6 with 5 strikeouts. Behind 1-2. Brian Abreu's pitched 7 games in this postseason, not giving up a run. Not giving up a run in 35 of his last 36 to the All-Star break. Strikes out Realmuto with a tight slider for the first out of the 7th. Well, $250,000 has already been donated to the Jackie Robinson Foundation for the Capital One walk-off program. For every walk-off during the World Series, Capital One will donate an additional $75,000 to the foundation to honor the 75th anniversary of Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier. Here's Harper.
Well, going back to the 6th inning of last night, the Phillies are now 1 for 29. And of course, they hit those 5 home runs in the first 5 innings and erupted for 7 runs and haven't really had much to say after that.
Nope.
This is such a funny game. I mean, it could not have been a crazier party, a crazier, more outlandish night with the Phillies banging 5 home runs, and 24 hours later, they don't have a hit. And silence. Harper swings and misses. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And you've seen some swings like that. So that just tells you the difference in the way the stuff is coming out of the hands of the starters and relievers tonight. Lance McCullers did not have his best game, and I know the conversation talking about so much with whether he was tipping or not out of the stretch, probably so. But the difference is when you establish your stuff and you have something to fear and you make it known, that's what the Astros did today. and it's showing when you put a great offense on the defensive. That's how you make a difference.
Can a night like this win you the series? Can it mess up an offense enough?
Well, it always. That's why I say in a series, and especially the World Series, don't get caught up in the narratives. Think how quickly they've changed.
I know.
After game one, oh man, Philly, they've undefeated at home. They snatched back a victory. And then game two, Astros put that to bed, right? Kind of kept them quiet. Game three, we just mentioned it. And here in game four, that's when two teams that are more matched than people thought coming into this. Astros were favored. We talked about the rain out and what that did for the Phillies.
Harper down, swinging, 2 gone.
But the formula's pretty simple. If you get starting pitching and you can turn it over to your leverage bullpen guys with the lead, these teams prove why, to this point, they're here.
And so these peaks and these valleys, this, we're so close, 2 wins away to, oh my goodness, we can't get a hit. This looks like this is headed for right back at square one and 3 games to decide who's the world champion.
Yeah, and you got, 2 great pitchers still for each team that are going to pitch if this game holds up. You've got Philadelphia with some time to come back. Well, but if this goes 6 games, you still got Wheeler for Philadelphia. Of course, Syndergaard tomorrow for Philadelphia. Verlander for Houston, chance to kind of redeem himself. And then that man who was filthy in his start.
Ball. 2-0 on Castellanos. That is from Valdez, who went 6 1/3, gave up just 1 run. You will start game 6 in Houston.
And again, Nola pitched great tonight. He made 2 crucial pitch selection errors that opened up the inning that eventually got him taken out.
Strike 1. Well, Nola and Wheeler have given up 13 runs in this postseason, or in this World Series. The rest of the staff of the Phillies has given up 2 over 20 innings. But when you consider that, and consider the fact that those 2 aces have given up 13, even if the Phillies don't come from behind in this game, the 2-2 series is a pretty good place to be.
Yeah, but like anything else, this is the asset of the Astros. Now, if the Phillies can crack a couple of the relievers, then they've become less strength's only as good as you empower it to be, right? So if one of those high leverage guys for Houston show a crack and Philly goes, oh, we've seen him, we can break through in a game, then that changes the narrative. But for Alvarado to come in that situation, the bases loaded, nobody out, man, you're asking so much of him to be good, and it didn't work out.
2-2 on Castellanos. Abreu strikes out the side. And the Astros have combined to put up 7 no-hit innings in game 4. MasterCard at grocery stores and restaurants. Thanks to all of you. MasterCard's presenting a generous $5 million donation to stand up to cancer. Together we can start something priceless. Zach Eflin on for the top of the 8th inning. That is ball 1 to Christian Vasquez. Eflin to face the bottom part of the Astros order.
I really like what he's done, and a starter. You documented some of the injuries that led him to where the position he is right now, but I think the transformation of going back to what he feels has been his strength in that 2-seamer and pitching down, and the role that he's been in has been very effective for Philadelphia. He got caught up in the information and the over information of numbers and philosophy. Pitch top of the zone, 4-seam. It wasn't working for him.
Gave up 3 runs in Game 1 of the division series to Atlanta. 4 games since, no runs, including a scoreless 1 and a third in the Game 1 win, and he strikes out Vasquez for the first out of the 8th. Astros 5, Phillies nothing. All the scoring in this game coming in the 5th inning.
Weird game. A lot of strikeouts for the Astros, but they've produced 5 runs.
Ball. So strikeout number 9 for the team that puts it in play as well as anybody, and has every year during this run, where they've been to the World Series 4 times in 6 years. Rafael Montero getting ready for the bottom of the 8th. Trying to continue what the Astros have going. That is a no-hitter through 7. 6 innings from Christian Javier. An inning from Abreu, who struck out the side through the heart of the order. And they will look to try and complete what would be just the 3rd postseason no-hitter ever. Larson's perfect game in the World Series in 1956. And in this ballpark in 2010, Roy Halladay, a no-hitter in the division series. One-two from Eflin. Diaz is down swinging. That's back-to-back Ks for Zach to open this 8th. Got some big names in the house tonight. Bruce Springsteen. Miles Teller's been at all the postseason games for the Phillies. Diehard Phils fan. Craig Biggio, big league Hall of Famer. Kate Upton will watch her husband pitch Game 5 tomorrow night.
She's relaxed now.
Yeah, right? Tomorrow probably won't be quite as relaxed. And the First Lady, Jill Biden, taking this one in. Out of the 9 spot, Chas McCormick. A couple strikeouts, and scored. And he takes a ball from Eflin. Now for the Phillies in the bottom of the 8th, Bohm, Stott, and Segura coming up. So they will get the top of the order up there one more time. At this point, trying to save face, gather some momentum going into tomorrow's game, and they face Verlander. And Verlander's going to be coming off of a tough start in Game 1. You talked about how you think that can be easier to try and follow up than actually a good performance against the lineup.
Yeah, because all you got to look at is those first 3 innings that he had, and he got a little bit out of his mechanics. It's just a change in mechanics that you get connected to, and when you execute the pitches the way he was in the first 9 up, 9 down, he'll have the opportunity to kind of follow the game plan of what Javier did.
Eflin trying to strike out the side, and he does. Let's go to the bottom of the 8th. Phillies looking for their first hit since 2016. Astros have a no-hitter through 7 innings. Rafael Montero, the 3rd pitcher of the game. 6 from Christian Javier, 1 from Brian Abreu. And now it's the 32-year-old looking to add a signature moment to this breakout season. Ball 1 on Alec Bohm.
He's another one that can rush it up there in a different way, more of a slingshot delivery, a la Pedro Martinez, who's about as nasty as they get under 6 feet.
The 1-0 pitch. Strike 1 on Bohm. The Astros pitching staff that has been the biggest strength for them all year, putting its foot down tonight against a Phillies lineup that bashed 5 home runs, seemed unstoppable in this ballpark. And they had to put their foot down. They were going to get this series back to Houston. The 1-1 pitch. Ball 2 on Bohm. Some defensive changes. Mauricio Dubon into the game in center. And Chas McCormick moves over to left, so Ledmus Diaz comes out. Slot Dubon into the 8th spot in the order. Bohm has struck out both times. Leading off the 8th. Swinging and missing. 2-2. There's been a bunch of that tonight on that pitch.
Yeah.
Fastballs.
Until the 6th inning, really no ground ball action for the infielders. They've been sitting around looking at this fastball going by the Phillies hitters all night. He caught a couple pop-ups, but not a lot of ground balls to the 6th inning.
Altero covering his ear up, tries to hear with that device in his hat. That's how they're delivering the signs. His 2-2. Ball outside, full count. Altero came over in a trade last year. He was kind of the least remarkable piece in a 4-player trade with Seattle. And pitched in 4 games, then got injured. Coming into this year, the Astros didn't know what they were going to get with him. But he had gone home to the Dominican Republic and gotten a lot stronger. Showed up, was looking as good as ever. And they have rode him. His full count pitch. Strikes out, boom. 1 gone in the 8th. 4 straight Ks for the Astros bullpen. And now a quick word from Evan Williams Bourbon.
Postseason calls for award-winning bourbon. Evan Williams, 1783 small batch.
I talked the slingshot delivery. It looks like he just and recoils. He throws the ball with such force. And a ball that rides out of the strike zone beats another Phillies.
Bryson Stott pops it foul. Not only do the Phillies not have a hit, they don't have a base runner since the 3rd inning. They got a walk tonight from Harper in the 2nd. They got a walk from Brandon Marsh in the 3rd. Nothing since.
And it really hasn't been. This is to show the dominance of the Astros. There hasn't been any like smoked baseballs that were out. You know, it's been relatively easy outs, pop-ups, ground balls, and a lot of that.
Well, they've retired 15 straight. 10 of those 15 strikeouts. Quickly 0-2 on Stott.
And they've not gotten cute in their game plan. When something's working, they just keep pumping it in there.
Been a lot of fastballs. 0-2 pitch. Stott flies it weakly, back of 3rd. McCormick, who just moved over there, settles under it. 2 gone in the 8th. Well, they had a combined no-hitter back on June 25th that Christian Javier started. Went 7 innings in that game. They got an inning from Neris. They got an inning from Presley to finish off that combined no-no. Tonight, 6 from Javier. Struck out 9. Biggest performance of his career and as good as he's ever been in his career. And they're going to look to piece it together with a bullpen from there. It's the first ball put in play against the Astros pen. Gene Segura, who's 0 for 2. Shoots one to right. That hangs up. And the Astros have 8 no-hit innings. A line drive that Tucker gets under. Through with 8 in game 4. 5-0 Houston. And the Phillies 1 game after scoring 7 runs, hitting 5 home runs. No hits through. Game on at MLBShop.com. Authentic on-field caps, tees, hoodies, and more. Get all your postseason Astros and Phillies gear. Wear with the champs wear at the official source, MLBShop.com. Brad Hand for the top of the Astros. Loops in there for a strike on Altuve. Astros tonight 5 runs on 9 hits. The Phillies no runs on no hits. Aaron Nola was cruising through 4. But then 3 straight singles to chase him in the 5th. 5 runs scored in that inning. That's all the scoring in this game. And it's been more than enough for the Astros.
Yeah, typically, you know, in these kind of games against these pitchers, you scratch out a run here, a run there. It's really been a series of clumps of innings. And the teams have taken advantage of their moments, put some crooked numbers up there, and we have a potential 2 games to 2 games going into tomorrow.
Justin Verlander will take it for the Astros. Noah Syndergaard likely to go for the Phillies in what It's essentially going to amount to a bullpen game. Now, they've been successful in those situations, and they were able to, again tonight, to pretty much stay away from their top relief arms. They did use Alvarado, but stayed away from Dominguez. I guess Dominguez would be the main top guy who they stayed away from. Still brought in Robertson and Eflin. With the off day to follow.
Ball out.
Check swing, 1-2. But that is one on paper where the Astros will have a massive advantage. Games aren't played on paper, though.
Oh, no. A lot of strategy and a lot of formulas are calculated on paper to get to what seems good on paper, but you got to execute. You got to put your team in the best position when you roll those players out.
Broken bat bouncer to stop. Circles around it and throws high, but Hoskins has it. One gone in the top of the ninth. For every home run hit this postseason, T-Mobile's donating $5 grand to Team Rubicon's hurricane recovery efforts. And when you text relief to 595959, T-Mobile donates another $5. So far this postseason, 89 home runs, adds up to $445,000 in donations for hurricane relief. Here's Jeremy Pena, who has a hit in all 4 games in this World Series. Second rookie shortstop that can say that. Each of his first 4 games of the World Series. Morty Wills, 1959 with the Dodgers, the only other.
This is our 4th game. Just to back up what we were talking about, there's only been 3 innings where a team has scored 1 run, and it's all by the Phillies.
Bunch of outbursts over the first 4. Ball. Add it all up. Still probably looking at 2-2, barring a miraculous rally from the Phillies in the bottom of the 9th. Win, by the way, they'll have 9-1-2 coming up. Trying to avoid winding up on the wrong side of history. Marsh will lead it off, then to be Schwarber and Hoskins. The 1-1 to Pena. Ball taken low. Scorcher from Jeremy Pena. Second hit of the game for him.
I'm going to give Rick and the staff 24 hours to come up with this one.
Okay.
I wonder if there's ever been a World Series between 2 cities where in that week a football game between those 2 cities exists. So tomorrow night, both of these cities will have a football game and a baseball game being played.
That's right. You got the Eagles and the Texans. Alvarez. Breaking pitch for a strike. Hey, look, 7-0 against 1-5. Would you rather watch that, or would you rather watch World Series tied at 2? We'll see you on Fox.
Yeah. What's your guess? You think that's ever happened before?
No, probably not. 7 times, I'm actually told. So by no, probably not, I mean many times, partner. Alvarez lofts one to left center field. Marsh into the gap, still in the move to the track. He's got it. Alvarez has started to go the other way tonight. A 1-for-4 performance. Still some signs.
And I'm telling you, yeah, that's a great sign moving into tomorrow's game, because when he struggles, and he has been struggling, he was getting beat to the fastball and getting pull happy. And even though it's not been a huge night, it's a night that you can build off of. And I know they work on everything in batting practice and drills, but that is good for the Astros moving forward.
Ryan Presley will try to put the finishing touches on history for the Astros in the World Series. Alex Bregman, one of the big swings in this game, a 2-run double in the 5-run 5th. Pan delivers. Bregman down the line, foul.
I knew we didn't need 24 hours, by the way. That's how good they are.
They're amazing.
I mean, he almost didn't even have to look it up.
They had it sitting in front of them. They knew you were going to bring it up.
Seriously, seven
times seems like a lot, but like Ron Burgundy with the teleprompter. When it comes to these people, they tell me something I'm doing. I trust them. 5-0 Astros here in game 4. And a Bregman with an 0-1 pitch. That's hit foul.
See, it doesn't take much to entertain me. I absolutely love the Fanatic. I was locked in, by the way, in the beginning. I was missing a lot of cues for getting ready for our open because I couldn't stop laughing at the Fanatic. But that little question's got my brain going, really? That's 7 times.
Yeah.
I've been told the last time the Phillies were in the World Series, them and the Giants played same day as game 4.
Should run against the Yankees, so that'd be 1 of the 7. That's downstairs, 1-2. Phillies in the World Series for the first time since that 09 season. It's the anniversary of Chase Utley's 2-home-run game in this ballpark in that 09 World Series. A 1-2 from Hand. Bregman awaits. Well, 2-2. They had the thriller in game 1 of this World Series. Phillies from down 5-0 to win 6-5. Tension-free the last 2. 5-2 Astros in game 2. 7-0 Phillies last night. 5-0 Astros in this one. The tension coming from the history in the making. 8 no-hit innings for the Astros. 3 pitchers combined. Javier goes 6 innings. Abreu with 1, Montero with 1, and Presley the last piece of that puzzle. Two in the air to left center. Schwarber started back. Now comes on. He's got it. Fasten those seatbelts. To the bottom of the 9th we go. Marsh, Schwarber, and Hoskins coming up, looking for the first hit of the game for the Phillies, and Presley coming in. Montero and Ryan Presley trying to combine for a no-hitter.
Javier hasn't changed his expression since the start of the game to watching the game. And now Presley's trying to finish the game.
Ryan Presley as good as they come out of the back end of the bullpen. 9-1-2 for the Phillies. Brandon Marsh, first pitch, curve is low. Presley's pitched in 8 games in this postseason. And given up just 1 unearned run. That came in game 2 of this World Series. Finished off the combined no-hitter for the Astros in June at Yankee Stadium. Also started by Christian Javier. Here's the 1-0. Deep to the zone with a fastball.
Ooh, that was... Marsh followed that one all the way in and turned back to ask if that was low.
The 1-1 pitch. Ball. Just low. Ball 2. In the first 7 innings of this game, a testament to the Astros player development. Christian Javier, never a big prospect. Didn't sign until 2 years after he was eligible. He's turned into one of the hottest pitchers in baseball. 6 no-hit innings. He turned it over to Brian Abreu. He was a bigger prospect, but improved a ton as he came up through the system. The last 2 innings, acquisitions for the Astros over the last few years. Backdoor strike 2. With the 2 acquisitions, better with the Astros than they ever were before they got to Houston. Montero, career year at 32. Presley was good, but never elite like he's been since they acquired him at the deadline in 2018. Two from Presley. Fouled off.
Good. Yeah, thank you. I got a few people there.
Marsh, one of the 2 base runners in this game for the Phillies. Harper walked, Marsh walked. Those both came over the first 3 innings. 17 straight retired by Astros pitching. Got a chase and 1 gone in the 9th. The Astros are 2 outs away.
Power breaking ball, top to bottom, tremendous spin, and little time to recognize it. Once you're committed, it's too late.
Presley go to work against the top of the order, Kyle Schwarber. Breaking ball misses, 1-0. 18 outs, strikeouts. 4 men combining for what would be one historic night. And for the 3rd postseason no-hitter, the 2nd World Series no-hitter in 118 years of the Fall Classic. 1 ball, 1 strike on Schwarber.
You know what? What this pitching staff can do is tremendous spin, but you saw over-the-top breaking ball there, then a hard cutter that held the plane. It looked like it might be the same pitch, but stays right there, and he can just do that all night.
Swing and a miss, 1-2.
And Presley does that as good as anybody because he works the hitter's eyes like a yo-yo, up, down, and then he throws one that stays the plane, and the hitter thinks, oh, that's going down, and it doesn't. So he plays that game back and forth really well, and that's why he's got one of the toughest pitches to hit.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Presley fires. 2-2. And for the Astros, you think about this 106-win machine. The rotation's good. The bullpen's good. But the bigger story is that it's the staff collectively. As deep as any staff we've seen in a long time. And so somewhat fitting that it's the full staff trying to accomplish this tonight. 2-2. Down the line, foul.
And again, that's why Dusty has more confidence to stay with guys longer because they've done that all year. Whereas Rob Thompson's going to try to use his highest leverage guys as soon as he can outside of 6 innings. You know, when it gets to a place where he thinks he's got the leverage, he'll use it.
Well, check swing on a pitch away. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Phillies hoping to avoid being no-hit for the 2nd time this year. His combined no-hitter against him back in April this year. Aaron Nola was on the wrong end of that one, too. 3-2 on Schwarber. Here comes Ryan Presley. Down the line again and foul. crazy, beautiful, wonderful, unpredictable sport of baseball. After they score 7 runs and hit 5 home runs, 24 hours later on the verge of getting no hit. Another 3-2 pitch. Ball. Good take, ball 4. First base runner for the Phillies since the 3rd inning.
That was an incredible take. This is the tighter one on the inner half of the plate that just didn't stay high enough, and Schwarber did a nice job laying off of it.
1-on-1 out for Rhys Hoskins. He's 0 for 3. Who isn't tonight? Shift on Hoskins. Ball takes ball 1. No-hitter, the history side of things, a 2-2 series. The bigger deal for the Astros as they try to win the World Series. A strike and it's 1-1.
Yeah, honestly, Presley knows what's going on, but that's not his priority right now. His priority is to get 2 more outs before any more traffic gets on the bases. He knows he'd love to continue the narrative, but
ball. And from the Phillies standpoint, yeah, they'd love to avoid the history, but they'd also love to run that pitch count of Presley's
Absolutely.
up with tomorrow coming quick.
Absolutely. There's always a game within the game. You know, even if you can't win or come back, you do things that gives you an advantage for the future. And if you can see as many pitches off of him, that somewhere down the road in the series.
Fly ball to right. On comes Tucker. He's there. Wow, he caught it about a foot off of the ground. 2 gone in the 9th inning. And the Astros are 1 out away from a no-hitter. Now the Gold Glover. Never a doubt. Pretty smooth over there, ducking down and catching this thing. Yeah, by a foot, I mean about a yard, but you'd probably like to have that look a little more routine when you're out there trying to finish the job. Phillies down to their last out, down 5-0 in game 4. Real Muto. Bouncing ball to third, picked by Bregman. Throw across in time. The Astros have a World Series no-hitter. The second one in World Series history. Don Larson in 1956. Joined by Christian Javier, Brian Abreu, Rafael Montero, and Ryan Presley. A 5-0 win in game 4 in no-hit fashion to tie this series at 2 games apiece.